Game over. Are your chances of getting into a top university over if you're from CBSE or worse, a state board curriculum? Is IBDP better than A levels? And do APs really matter or are they just a fad? Hi, I'm Anay Gupta, a 3-time CAIE world topper, AS level All India rank 1, 7-time Cambridge awardee, and freshman at Imperial College London. This is episode 2 of Decoding College Applications, where we break down your academics and build the foundation of your application. For admission officers, the first reflection of your academic competence stems from your transcript. Your grades aren't the end all be all, but they're usually the first filter and first impression on admission officers. First, let's decode this mystery of curricula. The biggest myth here is I'm not in an international board, so I can't apply to top colleges abroad. Absolutely false. No matter what board you're in, you can apply to top universities abroad. What matters is how you perform within the context of your board and how much rigor you show in your subject selection. If you are starting out grade 11, here's how to choose a curriculum. First up is the IB Diploma program. It is excellent for both US and UK applications. It is considered highly rigorous and thus it is very respectable as a curriculum. Here, you have 6 different subject groups and you need to take at least one subject from each of these groups. You take some subjects at the higher level and the rest at the standard level. Each subject is assessed on a grade of 1 to 7. Additionally, you write a 4,000-word extended essay, an independent research paper based on any topic of your choice, and complete 150 hours of community, activity, and service, which is basically some extracurricular involvement in solving a social problem. Next up, we have A-levels. A-levels are much better suited for UK applications than US applications. Here, you take about 3 to 4 subjects of your choice to explore in depth and then write structured exams. You likely have board exams in both 11th and 12th grades, so you cannot cram at the last moment. You will be marked from a grade scale of A star to E, but also receive a percentage uniform mark score out of 100. This gives us one strategic advantage. If we aim for perfect scores like I did, you can secure outstanding Cambridge Learner Awards or similar equivalents that gives you an edge over your co-applicants. Like personally, I got 7 of them and I was also the 3-time world topper and AS level All India rank 1. This definitely helped me distinguish my profile than those, who were applying with similar A stars, and so that helped me get into the number 2 university in the world, that is Imperial College London. However, after giving your IGCSEs, if you think that A levels is going to be a cakewalk, trust me, it is not going to be one. I say this from personal experience that the checking is really harsh, but if you do enough past papers and if you put in the hard yards, you will be able to crack it. Finally, we have CBSE, ICSE and state board curricula. You're fine, don't worry. It's actually ironic that they have deeper syllabi, but their repetitive paper patterns lower their apparent rigor. Now, what do we do here? You need to show exceptional marks, take harder subjects, and maybe add APs. We'll get to that later. But if you're from a board that's not globally glorious, you just have to do more. Outperform your curriculum. Not just your school, not just your classmates, but the entire curriculum. Win board level awards. Do academic olympiads. Show your academic competence and show your academic ambition. Now, what are APs and should you take them? APs or Advanced Placement Exams are US college level courses offered to high achieving students in high schools. You can self-study for these exams and give them through authorized centers in India. Now, they're funnily very easy for high rigor courses, but we're Indians and we're smart and we must accept that fact. But why do they matter? They add rigor to your application. They show colleges that you have challenged yourself by taking apparently harder classes. And thirdly, they give you college credit. That means in the US, you can save up on some time and tuition fee by skipping some intro classes or some undergraduate level courses in college because you have already studied that material in your AP classes. Some useful APs by interest are over here. I didn't take any APs because my AS level exam timetable clashed with the AP exam timetable, and I decided to hedge my bets on my A levels. Ideally, if your school doesn't offer you any APs, you're not required to take any APs. However, if you take the initiative to take some AP exams, you're obviously gaining the upper hand. Now, please be very careful. One bad grade doesn't define you. Use the additional information section to justify any extenuating circumstance for a bad grade, but don't get petty with excuses, okay? Because your grades are just the result of what you could think in those few hours, and you might have had a bad day. So it is okay if you did not score well in one of the exams. You don't need to get justifying or just start making excuses for those grades. Now, even the best students with the best plans can go off track. Here are some of the pitfalls I feel you should avoid with your academic overload. First, overloading your plate. The pitfall is taking every subject, course, and exam just to look good. Instead, choose depth over breadth. Prioritize your interests, choose 3 to 4 core subjects, and stick to them. Now, devote the remaining time that you would have to developing rich extracurriculars and also trying to take, difficult competitive exams that show your competence in your particular subjects of interest. Second problem a lot of students face is neglecting context. Like, for example, your school may be super strict with correction in your prelims, but then you significantly achieve a higher mark in your board examinations, and that just raises questions over your reliability everywhere. Now, this happens for a lot of schools here. My prelim marks, except for math where I scored straight hundreds, were significantly lower than my board exam marks, which could directly question my caliber and reliability. So, what do you do here? You make sure your school states in some document, it could be the school profile, it could be in the school transcript, or even the recommendation letters, which we will discuss in detail later, that these marks are pure percentage marks, right? So the percentage that you scored in the exam, while the board examination marks are percentage uniform marks, and they have been adjusted for thresholds. So they are not the raw percentages, but rather a threshold adjusted percentage uniform mark. Also, if possible, give more context about your learning environment. The recommendation letters, for instance, could compare you to the class average, and they could also talk about any difficult circumstances, for example, if a teacher left midway through the year. Third, procrastinating on external exams. The pitfall here is waiting until grade 12 to register for APs, Olympiads, and external competitions, only to miss out on deadlines, clash timetables, or seriously underestimate how much time writing essays will take up in grade 12. Instead, start early and mark all these competitions in your calendar by grade 10. Built in buffer weeks for preparation and revision. Finally, ignoring subject prerequisites. A lot of you take subjects randomly at high school because they are too easy, or because they are the convention, or because someone told you to. And then you regret it later. Instead, please hop onto the university website and check out the course you want to study at university. Over there, you will find a list of subjects required for you to be taken at the high school level. Now, medicine will require bio and chemistry. Computer science will also require physics. Business and economics requires mathematics. Now, these subjects can seem very counterintuitive to be taken at first. However, at university, you will understand why you studied them at your A levels. So, what do colleges really see in your grades? When you apply abroad, you submit a transcript, a record of all your marks from grade 9 to grade 12. Yes, grade 9 and grade 10 matter, especially for the US. For the UK, your predicted grade 12 scores could be the difference between getting an offer or getting a rejection. So if you're thinking about slacking off in junior year and thinking about catching up next year, well, think again, because your junior year, your 9th grade, your grades when you don't have board exams are more important than you think. Colleges look for one of 3 very important things. Firstly, consistency. So if you did really well across certain subjects or all subjects throughout your high school, that really shows that you are interested in that subject and you are good at that particular subject. Alternatively, you can show improvement. So if you started out with a B but then ended at a very high A, it shows that you're challenging yourself, you're putting in the hard work, and you are growing as a student. And lastly, colleges look out for rigor. They want to see that you have taken the toughest subjects and still did really well. For example, An A on further mathematics is more valuable than an A star in just normal mathematics. My school did not offer further mathematics like most schools in India, and so I took the initiative to take on further mathematics as a private candidate. I self-studied for the exam and delivered it at my exam center. And so that showed colleges that I'm genuinely passionate and interested about mathematics, and that I have the potential to, deliver and live up to that expectation. It's good to study what you like at high school. However, it's also important to know what you need to study to be able to study what you like at university too. So chop the university website to know how hard you need to study. Imperial College, for example, will require conditions of A star, A star, A star, or A star, A star, AA, or even higher conditions at your A levels. Top US colleges would love 4.0 GPAs or IB7s in your HLs or equivalents in your curricula. So if you meet these conditions, you have cleared level 1 and you're in the game of college applications. But there's a lot more competition we need to stave off still. Your academic story isn't just about marks, it's about how you challenged yourself. For instance, in my high school, I was scoring generally double my class average, and I was comfortably beating my salutatorians. However, I had the initiative to not just top my class, not just top my country, but top the entire world. Additionally, I also pursued my interests by doing a lot of research projects and also participating in a lot of external competitions. This showed my grit and intellectual curiosity to challenge myself despite my lesser conducive learning environment. Your academic story is about how well you did in your educational context. But it's equally important to perform in a uniform context. Standardized testing. The SAT, ACT, ESAT, TMUA, IELTS, TOEFL. There is no excuse over here, and we will understand how to go about this overhyped business in episode 3 of Decoding College Applications. Until then, build your academic foundation wisely, because everything else depends on it. I'm Anay Gupta, and I believe in you.